Hi guys, welcome to my coffee show. My name is Jack. I'm back. Holidays are over. Hopefully you enjoy your summer. Now it's time to work and work and work and work. So what we're going to do today, we will continue comparing things. Good old K Max, Espresso K Max, and we will compare it today with Niche Zero. By the end of this video, I will try to answer the question which espresso and which pour over tastes better. Who is this video for? I mean, hopefully for everybody. Hopefully you will enjoy. But the way I think it, let's say you have a nice flat burr grinder like DF64. And you're happy with that, but you are curious how that conical burrs, how they taste, what's the difference? And then you want to buy something, and should you spend £500 to get something like niche? Or maybe if it's just like occasional coffee that you will drink, maybe it's better to buy something like 1Zpresso K Max, which costs what 180. I talked about both of those grinders a lot, so just quickly. 1Zpresso K Max, made in Taiwan, made mostly with aluminium, weights over several hundred grams, comes in the nice carrying case, available in a few different colors I think, but they all about the same kind of a metallic finish, very professional look, nice magnetically attached cap, wooden knob here. Apart from that, the top lid, there is no plastic here. Burrs, 48 millimeters conical heptagonal burrs. So apparently that geometry it's what makes this grinder special. It's a stepped grinder. To make a changes, you rotate that outer ring. There is that red dot here, so you know exactly where you are. 90 settings altogether, and you are within one rotation. Space in between each click, each setting, it's 22 microns. Everybody knows Niche Zero. I talked about it so many times that I'm kind of repeating myself. The grinder looks good. Some people like the design, some people may complain. It weighs around 4.2 kg. If you need to move it somewhere, you can easily do it with one hand. Made out of mixture of materials. There is aluminium, there is some steel, there is lots of plastic as well. There is a wooden finish here, nice metal dosing cap, 330 RPMs, the power 350 watts. Burrs, that's a huge conical burrs, mother made 63 millimeters. Really easy to dial in properly because it's a stepless grinder, relatively fast, relatively quiet. Everything works as it should. But the only downside, if you compare it with something like a K Max, the only downside is a price. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes you have to wait until it's available. I've waited for my like 3 months. Some people waited just a week. Some people waited longer than that. We will start with the espresso, and just for the shots to be comparable, I will use a default profile on a Decent. We will use again a Caravan Coffee Roaster, Maria Ramirez, and that's the coffee from Guatemala. Again, I think it must be a season for coffee from Guatemala, because every other coffee I get is from Guatemala. Anyway, the tasting notes, you see, I haven't opened the bag. The tasting notes, cherry jam, melon, and soft caramel. 18 grams in, 36 grams out. So I will be kind of aiming for 35-ish seconds. And I want those two shots about the same time of extraction. If you are as excited as myself, because I have no idea what to expect. Well, I hope that the niche will be slightly better, otherwise I just overspend. I can stick with my K Max. But if you're as excited as myself, definitely click like and subscribe to the channel. I will start on a setting number 2.8. So usually like in between 2.5 and a 3.5. That's where I am for espresso. 18 grams of coffee in. Because it's a light roast, especially at the beginning, well, it's not that easy. So if you have any issues with the elbows, with your wrists and so on, or if you have to do multiple shots, might not be a grinder for you. So with this coffee it took 50 seconds. What I like to do, I just tap a few times just to make sure everything ends in the catching cup. Pretty much clean. And I put it on 17.9. The coffee smells nice. It is washed coffee, but smells almost like there were hints of naturally processed coffee. Light roast, don't expect pretty crema, but there is a shot. 32 seconds it took. Ideally we would like that brown line to be even and in the line with the blue line. I end up on the setting number 2.9. I was moving back and forth. Usually the first shot on a K-Max, especially if you haven't used it for a while, it takes longer to grind and it's slower to extract. Probably there is a connection between those two. So the slower you grind for espresso, the slower the shot will be. The final shot, it took only 40 something, like 42 seconds to grind. Light black tea smell, maybe hints of peaches. There is some sweetness in the smell as well. Anyway, cheers. Very fruity. Very neat finish. There is clarity here. Notes are sharp. Sourness dominant, but not unpleasant. Hint of bitterness in the background, like if you were drinking a grapefruit juice, something like that. Cherry jam? No. There is some like a jammy flavors. Not too sweet though. Melon? No. Caramel? Minimal sweetness, yeah. Would I describe it as a caramel? Not necessarily. Normally the K-Max gives a decent body to the shot, but this is kind of on the thin side. We will see what we get with niche. If you are a fan of texture and hazelnuts, deep sweet shots, thick shots, this won't be for you. Coffee is interesting, but probably a different profile would be better to develop that coffee in a direction that I would enjoy more. Let's see what the refractometer says. 8.86 TDS, and that gives around 18% extraction. According to refractometer, it's slightly on that weak underdeveloped side. 18 grams of coffee in. It took 15-16 seconds to grind that 18 grams on a setting number 15. Let's see what we can get here. And now 17.8. What I like to use is this blower. I will put the link in the description if you want to buy it from Amazon. And have a look, just a few blows. And then I also do this, and let's have a look. Okay. And now we've got, well, 0.1, almost zero retention. We've got a shot. Have a look. Slightly thicker, but still nothing special. Shot took 33 seconds. It took me a few times to dial it in. I end up on a setting number 10 on a niche. but the end result, I like the extraction here better than what I got from the K-Max. You may ask, Jack, why do you always choose those tricky coffees? Why do you want to make your life more difficult than it is? You should go for a nice medium coffee, much easier to dial in, and the shots would look pretty. Yes, but well, we like challenges here, and personally I'm a fan of light roast. Kind of, there are some hints of nuts in this shot. Less tea-like, less floral, anisey, something like between chocolate and anisey, like if there was a hint of absinthe in a shot. So cheers, guys. Okay, let's start with the body. It's exactly the same as the shot from K-Max. So it looks like this coffee, to get more body, you probably would have to either choose a different profile or maybe extend the extraction. I think I had a bit more, but tiny bit more clarity in the shot from K-Max. Okay, if you gave me those two shots, if it was a blind test, no way I could spot which is which. They are very, very similar. The body is similar. The clarity was slightly, but it's a percentage better on a K-Max. Yeah, the sourness is maybe a 1% lower. I would say possibly slightly less bitter than the previous shot. A tad more sweetness here. Reading through the flavor notes, I'm in both of those shots. I'm struggling to get the promised flavor notes. It's more like a lemony, maybe a hint of grapefruits, both of them. If I had to choose, I would choose this one, but the difference is minimal. Overall, there is more harmony in this shot, but as I said, it could go both ways. Let's test the refractometer. Okay, so it's 9.24. The temperature is slightly higher, 2 degrees higher, so that can influence the readings. Looks like almost the same. Now it's time for the second part of this test. Simple V60, that's a size 2 V60, and a simple recipe, the one that I normally use. 15 grams of coffee in, 250 grams of water. I use water about 98 degrees. I put 45 grams of water first, and that will be a blooming phase, and that blooming phase lasts for 2 minutes. Then I put the remaining amount of water and I brew the coffee. I will be aiming for similar time of extraction. If I was making a pour over for myself, the time, it's a one thing, but I would just taste the coffee. And according to the taste, I would change the grind settings and so on. I will start with the setting number 5.5. That's slightly lower than what the producer recommends, but that's what I normally use. As always, if you notice that I'm doing something wrong, something could be improved, or you disagree with something that I say, definitely leave the comments. So that's the coffee bed from K-Max. It took about a minute and a half of the extraction after that initial 2 minutes. You will be the judge. You probably can tell me more. My technique might not be perfect. The barista kettle is a very fast kettle, so it's not always easy to control the stream of water. A little bit muddy, but not extremely muddy. It took about 35 seconds to grind that 15 grams of coffee. So for the pour over, no effort. I didn't have to struggle. So for the pour over, definitely K-Max, it's much easier to grind than for espresso. I will quickly brew another cup while this one is cooling off a little bit, and then we taste the K-Max first. That's the cup from Niche. As you can see, that's how the muddy cup looks like. I'm on a setting number 30 on Niche. The extraction took 1 minute and 40 instead of 1 minute and 30 on the K-Max, but you can see the difference in how the bed looks like. Some sweetness, but not very strong aroma. So cheers. Nice sourness, little bit of nuts. Altogether very delicate flavors. Some fruitiness, but more like a peaches than a cherries. Lemon, very smooth cup, not very strong. Yeah, hints of peaches, degree of lemon, and some sweetness. Very minimal bitterness. It's an enjoyable cup of coffee, but it's not like a wow. 0.96, not so much. 13.70, almost 14% of extraction. So, coffee from the niche on the setting number 30. To grind that 15 grams of coffee, it took around 11 seconds. Yeah, so they are also very delicate, maybe a little bit more on the fruity side, the smell, but very delicate. You have to really look for it. Cheers. Cup is slightly more mellow. In both of them I struggle to find those promised tasting notes. Still there is some lemon here. The cup from the K-Max got kind of a nice texture. Here that sourness is slightly more pronounced, not unpleasant, but there is no depth in the flavor. I would say that I like the cup from the K-Max more than the cup from the niche. Both of them need some improvements, but overall the cup from the K-Max was more complete. It was telling more of the story. Here is kind of two-dimensional, just some sourness, not much more. But what do I know? Let's see what the refractometer says. Okay, so it looks like it will be similar or even more. 91 TDS. I've repeated this test a few times. Ratio similar, 13% of the extractions. By the way, if you are still here, definitely click like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. In today's test, K-Max versus niche. In terms of the espresso, I would say they were about the same. Possibly slight edge to niche for espresso. The difference is when you grind, you know, it takes seconds to grind for espresso on a niche, 15 seconds or so. It took 45-ish seconds to grind for espresso on a K-Max, but the end results, at least comparing those two shots with this particular coffee, I would say both of them, they were equally satisfying. With the pour over, I think the winner was a K-Max. Overall taste of the cup, there was more depth in the flavor. I could taste some nuances, not much, but I could taste some nuances. Not sure if I should declare a winner or not, it's just my observation. And as always, guys, you cannot judge any grinder just on one shot. Personally, for espresso, I enjoy using electric grinders because it's easier, and the niche is very easy to dial in. If you're just looking for the grinder for the pour over, K-Max. I've done a video when I compared all 4 of my hand grinders for the pour over. You may have a look at that. I'm sure lots of you got either K-Max and or niche. Let me know how you like those grinders for the espresso, how you like them for the pour over. If you have both, definitely let me know what do you think about the results, which one you enjoy in terms of taste more. But for today, thank you very much for watching. My name is Jack. This is my coffee show, and hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.